Super excited. We're here today with Effy Terry from Organize That. Effy helps people going through life transitions to declutter, purge, and organize their spaces. Effy, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having me here, Jane.
So I want to make sure I get all of this right. Effy Terry is a life transition ADHD, ADD coach, public speaker, and professional organizer. With a background degree in psychology, she prioritizes mental health and wellness of her clients through the company Organize That. Effy holds specialist designation in ADHD, ADD, hoarding, chronic disorganization, and aging from the Institute of Challenging Disorganization. Effy is poised to help people suffering from hoarding disorder make a change during the most difficult time in their lives. A natural-born facilitator, Effy spent 26 years working in broadcast television before making the leap to professional organizing in 2017. Effy also has formal mediation training as a dispute resolution specialist, which allows her to bring an unbiased third-party voice to family meetings. Many of Effy's clients are seniors or individuals dealing with issues such as hoarding disorder, ADHD, and other co-occurring physical and cognitive challenges such as PTSD, bipolar disorder, depression, and other physical and mental illnesses. Using trauma-informed care, she determines her clients' goals by deeply examining what is of importance for them moving forward. Whew, that's a mouthful. Let's talk, Effy.
Okay,
I've got some questions for you. Okay, so tell me a little bit about what called you to make the change and transition from broadcasting into this space.
So I was going through my own life transition. I had decided that I was going to leave broadcast television. I wanted my life to take a different direction. And so I was trying to create order from, I guess, chaos. My life was in flux. I didn't know what was going on. I was in a new-ish relationship, and we were considering, meshing homes so I was searching. And as I was searching, I was doing a lot of reading. I had a lot of time on my hands, and I found Marie Kondo's book. I read it, and I was really, it kind of resonated with me. And I had, at the time, I took this little part-time job doing staging, and I had not even heard of professional organizer at that time. So as I was doing staging, a lady mentioned professional organizer, and my head spun around, and I was like, what is that? Because I've always been an organized person. As a little kid, I used to empty out my bookshelves on my bed and reorganize everything. So I asked her, what is professional organizing? And she said, it's a career. You go into people's homes and lives, and you create order from chaos. And I was like, sign me up. I just lit up. So Marie Kondo was having a course. I did her course in New York, took the Professional Organizers in Canada course, started taking on clients, and I was like, oh my God, I couldn't believe I was getting paid to do this, because I truly, truly found my, there's a term called ikigai, your purpose in life. I had found that. That was my purpose in life.
So this was your calling. You were drawn
to it. It was my
calling,
and
your ways to serve others.
Yes.
And it's so amazing when your purpose in life aligns with being able to serve.
Yeah, absolutely. And as I was serving the clients, I was finding a lot of my clients, it wasn't just about the stuff, and they were having some challenges with regard to either ADHD or autism, lots of different cognitive and physical challenges. So I searched around, and I found the Institute for Challenging Disorganization, and they provide specific education to deal with people dealing with more than just come in and put labels on jars for me or make things tidy, which even when people ask me to do that, it's not always about that. Sometimes it's about new moms need more time, or just creating order may give more mental space. Physical clutter and mental clutter, they're very, very tightly related.
When my space is cluttered, I feel anxious and I feel like I can't focus. And do you find that with a lot of your clients?
Absolutely. There is my biggest strategy, whether you have ADHD or not, is to simplify as much as possible. And what that does is, when you simplify, it frees up your working memory in your frontal lobe, frontal cortex, so that it's like people have like all these Post-it notes on their working memory. It's like, remember to do that, do the laundry, take this stuff to the dry cleaner, kids here, blah, blah. So if you simplify your life, not just the things in your home, but the things that draw attention on your time, you can really start to feel more calm.
Just lighter, right?
And lighter, yeah. Declutter, not just physical things, your schedule, Sometimes you have to declutter people from your lives,
That's
especially
so
if they're
true.
toxic.
Especially like
and-
social media.
Absolutely, yes.
It's such
Yeah,
a-
clearing your feed on
Right.
on Instagram. Like if there are things that are drawing on your attention and you're looking at it and being jarred by it, time to let those things go.
Right, they're not serving you anymore. Time to let them go.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit about when you come in, when you do these consultations with clients, when you start to begin the process of decluttering, and purging some of these things that they're holding on to, maybe because of their ties to the past. And tell me about the health benefits associated with being able to clear that space and to lighten that load.
So we talked about the mental clutter being tied to physical clutter, so that can ease your mind, ease your memory, help you remember things, which can even affect social relationships in your home with your partner, because sometimes there's arguments. Physically, less stuff, less dust, less things to manage. Even the lighting in a room changes when you declutter. The sound in a room changes. So you're talking about like safety hazards as well. Decluttering, especially for seniors or people that might have physical challenges, removing boxes and things in the way, clear pathways. It has so much reach. Decluttering your home. That's not just moving things along to a donation center.
Yeah, fair enough. And speaking of seniors, in my experience in this industry, working as a realtor for 11 years, I find, and correct me if I'm wrong, that seniors maybe have the toughest time letting go of these items and these things in the past, and need to be handled so delicately and with so much care. Can you speak to a little bit about how you handle seniors and transitioning, maybe downsizing into a space like from a 4-bedroom home into a condo? There's a lot of things that they're hanging on to that they're so reluctant to let go of.
Well, there are two main things at the end of life, close to the end of life, when a senior heading into the end of life, I will call it. So one of them is control and the other one is preserving legacy. So those are the two big factors when we work with seniors, to understand that they may feel a loss of control. So seniors have to trust that the control is in their hands, and preserve legacy, that we're not going to erase their past. We're going to preserve their past, but we're going to do that in such a way. There's a book called Buried in Treasures. So if you have so much stuff, you can't actually find your treasures. And what I help seniors do, and I've helped them actually move from downsize into maybe assisted living or living with other family members, is to go through their things and find. And it's not living with less, it's living with the best. And finding those treasures, finding those treasures at any age that applies. Find those things that are going to be special, that are going to preserve your legacy, but that they understand that they have the ultimate control. That at the end of the day, I'm not here to tell you to get rid of anything, that it's your choice. And as we go through things, when they do find their treasures, it's like, oh yeah, so I'll put a treasure on a table and I'll say, let's compare the things that you're choosing to that. And it's a little bit easier, and we make it fun, and I love to listen to the stories of seniors as well. And sometimes I have to say, okay, let's work on this, and then at the end of the session we'll have a 10-minute or 15-minute tea. But you really have to hold space for people and let people process their past to make decisions on the things that they want to let go, because these are things that they've carried with them 7 or 8 decades.
Right, exactly. And I think you really hit the nail on the head when saying you need to hold space for them, and it can't be something that's rushed, is what my experience is with seniors, more so than anyone else. You really need to hold that space, allow them to process those feelings that are associated.
Trust is huge.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for involving the children? Because I think it's so important for kids to learn this at an early age.
Absolutely.
So later on in life, they don't find themselves under mountains of things that they're unable to let go of, or those attachments.
I would say involve kids young, and then teach them giving. So donating to charities, and not just used toys, but take them to a toy store and buy a new toy. But then also, if you're decluttering at home, what new things, because we always want to donate with dignity. So what toys do we have that maybe we've outgrown, or that the child wants to give, and that teaches them charity from a young age. Clutter in the home affects children more than parents arguing. more than that kind of like interaction. And so kids that live in a calm environment with not a lot of clutter are seen to be calmer, and it really it helps a lot. Like especially, for example, if children are on the spectrum, if they have ADHD, it really goes a long way to a calmer environment.
Looking around their house can feel overwhelming. Like there's like, where do you even begin? So
Okay.
what are your tips and tricks for all of the people out there? And I know there's quite a few looking around just being like, screw it. Like I'm not even going to begin because it's too overwhelming, too consuming.
Yep.
Where do they start?
So I would say there's a great strategy that it's not mine. It's by another organizer and thought leader, Judith Kohlberg, and she calls it the friends, acquaintances, strangers method. So friends are things we want to keep close to us, those things that are really important. Acquaintances, things we've probably outgrown, not really our preference anymore. We can pass those along. Strangers, things we don't, someone commented on a post I did about this and they said stranger danger, and it's true, like boxes, garbage, recycling, anything that are yes, leave my house, I don't need you. Right. So think about it in friends, acquaintances, strangers, and that might be an easy strategy. Where to start? I would say
with the strangers, I would imagine.
Get
rid of the strangers.
But if you're looking for a room to start in, think of that room that's always on your mind, like the room you spend the most time in. And that will give you the motivation. If you could feel it in that room you go into a lot, like if you don't go into the spare room, maybe don't start there. Start in the kitchen where you'll really feel an effect, and then it will be encouraging, motivating. If things, and what I say is, clutter are things that impede our enjoyment of life. So if 40 mugs do not impede your enjoyment of life, who am I to say that you're not supposed to have 40 mugs? Okay. If they're displayed nicely and out of the way, but if they're all over the kitchen counter and you can't find your medication, you can't find your keys, if they're impeding you being able to live your best life, then I would start to question, is that too many? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited for you because recently this career path has led you to a really incredible opportunity and experience, and you have been starring in Hoarders Canada, which tell me everything. How did that come about? How was your experience? When are we going to see the episodes?
So that was really a gift from the universe and very surreal, coming from behind the camera, working in broadcast television for 27 years, and then getting into organizing and starting to learn all about chronic disorganization and hoarding disorder. I was approached by Hoarders Canada if I'd like to film a few episodes. So I'm in 2 episodes. And I believe there are 7 or 8 total. So in each episode, there's an organizer and a therapist working with the family. And it was a very surreal experience, as I said, coming from behind the camera to in front of the camera. And it was very natural. It was not staged. This was not... other than making sure that the camera could see me, right? It just played out naturally.
So you went in just as you would to one of your clients.
Absolutely.
And
yes.
Worked.
Yes. Same strategies, same work, and having to build trust with families and work with them, and it was a wonderful experience. Like, I just feel so honored, and the families were so wonderful that we worked with, and they were so brave and so courageous to
honestly
to
it's
go
so
on
vulnerable
camera.
To put yourself out there like that.
Yes.
That's what I'm always in awe of when I see that show, that people actually are willing to put themselves out there to the world and say, like, really, like, we need help. Right? And that's brave. And
it's so inspiring to other people that are in their homes and they're looking around at their stuff saying, is this a normal amount of things to keep? Am I, how do I get out of it? And it makes people feel less alone and more prone to come and ask for help.
Again, it is that time of year where people are wanting to kind of purge and start fresh as spring comes, and they're not wanting to do it themselves or feeling overwhelmed, and instead of taking the tips that you gave them earlier, want to actually have you help. What does that look like? How do they get a hold of you? Do they do it by session? Tell us everything. Okay, so I do a very thorough phone intake conversation first, and I assess their needs. So do you need a team? Do you need a one-on-one? Do you need virtual? I'm a certified virtual professional organizer as well, so I can actually help people virtually over Zoom. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, and I do that. Yeah, the way what that looks like is I either do coaching, mindset around clutter and things and stuff,
Or I'd actually do organizing sessions. I had a client in Beaverton, and she loved this. She loved the service because there was no one out in that area to service the area. She didn't want someone in her home. It was during COVID, so it was really great for her. It's like, we call it a focus mate, accountability partner, clutter companion.
Right.
And so I hold space for them, but I actually help direct them. And in between sessions, they get accountability as well. If they want an
accountability is so important.
Very right.
Sometimes that's all people need, is just someone to be accountable to and keep them on track.
Yes. Yeah. That's called body doubling, actually. So that's a good strategy, whether you have ADHD or not. Is if I go into someone's house, I'm an anchor, I'm a mirror, and I'm kind of like, I geofence them into, okay, we're here for 3 hours, you're gonna get this done. But again, it could be as simple as I offer like a working consultation, or a team of 2, team of 3, team of 4. I've had a team of 5 when we did a warehouse. And I find that when we work with a team, we get in and out faster, and it's less intrusive on the client, rather than one-on-one for like 6 months, which can be, it's a lot.
It drags, right?
It drags. That being said, we never pressure people. We just try to by pre-sorting their items, we make it easier for them to shop their stuff, which is basically what they're doing. And we can help, part of our service is to help with third-party services, and we don't charge for that. It's part of our service to our clients.
Right, so bringing in like bins
absolutely.
And movers,
yes.
And so you have a team of trusted professionals that you recommend.
Exactly. We don't do it all. Like, do what you do best and source out the rest.
Right.
I really
You're not going to be carrying furniture.
No.
That's fair.
No. And I do bring to the home, people call my car like IKEA on wheels, or HomeSense on wheels. So I bring a certain amount of product that I know works for every house, and then I do shop for clients too if they need specific product. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can people get a hold of you?
Organizethat.ca, or they can
reach out to you on
reach
social
out to
media?
Me on social media. Yeah, organize.that on social media.
You've got a great Instagram page.
Thank you.
Tons of really informative.
Yeah. They can just Google Effy Terry. It'll come up. You'll find me. I'm all over the place. Yeah.
Okay, so if you find yourself in that position and you're looking around and you just need a little bit of help, call Effy. She's absolutely incredible. Not only is she an amazing person, but she's a phenomenal organizer, and she can definitely get you sorted.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you.